It's the Traders Podcast, episode number 18. I am your grateful and appreciative host, Jeremy Ritz. Very excited to be introducing today's episode because we have on the show today Jerremy Newsome, the amazing trader who has had such an impact on my life, has taught me the ropes. He's the CEO of Real Life Trading. He's an elite level trader, and he recently just published his latest book, Master Yourself, Master the Markets. So we get to have our very own one-on-one conversation with Jerremy today to discuss the book, but learn about the markets. And so this is going to be a valuable episode out there for everyone part of the Courage community. I'm super excited for you to check this out here today. And without any further hesitation, delay, please allow me to introduce Jerremy Newsome to the show. Enjoy, everyone. All right, it's the moment that we've been waiting for. We have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jerremy Newsome here on the Traders Podcast. Jerremy, how are you, sir? It's great to see you.
Great seeing your face, man. I'm doing incredible, dude. Life is perfect.
Dude, you're looking good. You're looking jacked. The beard is in full effect.
Yes.
What you been up to? What's been good? Or what's been great? Let me correct myself.
Man, it's there's a big chapter of life closing right now for me, which is great. Going from one thing to the next. So life in Nashville, Tennessee is winding down. We sold our house and we found pretty much our dream house in California. We got all the way moved out there. So we're there. My wife is there. We are really enjoying that transition, man, and just seeing new things, meeting new people. That's going to be really exciting. And then, of course, got a new baby boy on the way. He gets here sometime in late May, early June. So across the board, just tons of new things, right? So 2024, a very powerful year for myself and my family, dude. It's going to be incredible.
That's awesome. Wonderful, man. I'm glad to hear it. And best of luck with the new little one coming. But
Thanks, man.
What we wanted to talk about today is your new book, man. Master Yourself, Master the Markets. I know whenever I receive my copy, I reach out to you. I'm like, dude, it's so good. And wanted to have you on, and you graciously agreed to do that. And just talk about everything included in there, because really, when I look at it, it's not only a guide to trading the market successfully, but the more important part, which is your mindset, the psychology, the discipline components, because really that's the majority of it. And so the nerd that I am, I took a bunch of notes here and just wanted to go through and just share some of the value with the viewers out there of what's in the book. And just wanted to start, one of the concepts that you talk about early on is that, we often look at money as being true wealth, but your viewpoint is that it's time that's actually wealth. And you get into this concept of your hourly life value. Can you expand on that a little bit for the viewers?
Absolutely. I think for me, the reason that was so early in the book is because many people don't take the time, literally, to understand what it is that they're after. And the biggest answer that I received the most on trading, like, hey, why are you trading? Why do you want to make a bunch of money? Is so that they can have time freedom. But if you don't know exactly what time freedom is, or what it looks like, or what it feels like, then you become scared of it. And if you become scared of it, you're not going to have it, and you're not going to attract it. And so the more concise and crystallized anyone gets about their time, the more real it becomes for them. And when it becomes more real, it becomes more tangible, and it becomes more tangible, it becomes more likely to happen. So the time value of knowing what someone's time is worth per day or per hour is extremely powerful, because then you can implement it from a trading standpoint where you're like, okay, cool. I just made 75 hours worth of my time value on one trade. So now let me go and either enjoy my actual time freedom for the next 74 hours, right? You can sit in it, you can be in it because you earned it. And for a lot of people, that's the thing, is like, if you're actually chasing time freedom, when you have some of it, go get and be in your time freedom. Go sit in it. Go experience it. Go enjoy it. And then you'll get addicted to it. And guess what happens when your brain gets addicted to something? It will continually find ways to bring that into existence, always.
Yeah. And the thing that I love about that is you give an equation in the book
Yeah.
to calculate your hourly life value. And that's an awesome way of thinking of it. If you hit a day trade, you just got X number of hours back. What are you
Hmm.
gonna do with it?
Hmm.
That's just incredible.
Yeah.
And and getting those hours back, one of the things that you talk about too is the 12-hour walk. And I know we've talked about this before, but this being something that could help you really master your mindset or be alone with your thoughts and just how difficult that is. And can you talk about that for a bit, the whole concept of the 12-hour walk?
I heard this one. I was given this instruction by one of my coaches. His name is Andy Christensen, and this was like one of his things he told me to do. This was really, really, really early on in my development journey. And man, that was such a huge life change. Massive, massive, because the amount of people that I talk to, Ritz, like on a daily basis, they're like, "Oh yeah, I've never done that." Like, you've never just been with your thoughts during a weekday by yourself for 12 hours, right? And what it does is it creates a shift in everything that people know about time, right?
Mhm.
That's another big component is if you want true time freedom, that's what it feels like. When you're by yourself for 12 hours, essentially doing nothing, you get to finally be. And that's what we're called, right? Human beings,
Mhm.
not human doings. And most people are always doing something all the time rather than just existing and being aware of their surroundings and just living in the moment. And
Yeah.
I think that that's what what something like that will do, that 12-hour walk, or just spending 12 hours by yourself doing nothing allows so much creativity to fill your brain.
Yeah. And you talked about how it's not an easy process, how the beginning of it was, you were taking a lot of notes, you had your notebook, but as the time went on, it become progressively more difficult.
Yeah.
Why is that such a challenge for us to be alone with our thoughts and just in contemplation like that?
I don't think we're trained to do it. Um, Yeah, we're not trained. I mean, it was probably a lot easier 300 years ago,
Yeah.
and that was probably more commonplace. But now, and the addiction for me is like continually having something either in my hand, like cell phone or a computer, right? And so the ability to be by yourself and be okay with it and be in the moment of listening in that creation, the moment of creation, internal creation, knowing what it feels like so that you can replicate it over and over and over. Because I mentioned this a million times, right? The book is called Think and Grow Rich. Most people never think. And if you really, really, really want true wealth, that's what you have to do is you have to contemplate because we all have the exact same amount of time. We all have the exact same amount of resources. We all can accomplish so much, but we are truly afraid of it as a nature and as a society because it's just not bred into us. It's not taught because very, very few people really understand time freedom.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's a great point too. Just you're training yourself to be comfortable in that
Yeah.
aloneness. Just like we
Yep.
train for a marathon or we train for trading,
Yep.
we have to train ourselves. I've never thought of it that way. That's pretty profound. Speaking of trading, one of the things that stood out to you give a specific procedure for traders when they come up against the dreaded losing streak or the slump, which everybody hits. It's part of this game that we have the privilege and honor of being a part of. But
Yep.
talk us through, when you hit those bumps in the road, or like recently, we've been on this big, massive bull run and things shifted. There was a little switch in the rhythm where if you didn't adapt quickly enough, you could have got caught up in it. But what are some things that people can do that you reference in the book to help you overcome those slumps and losing streaks?
Like you said, man, it's a guaranteed thing to happen. Like it's going to occur. And for me, I feel like probably the most important thing is to study your losers, really review what you did incorrectly and try to find that pattern. Like you actually mentioned that word, right? Try to find what is the thing that shifted, and most importantly, what can you tweak, if anything? Did you follow, like, did you actually follow your rules? Did you actually follow your plan? Did you actually have the same system did you do it? Or were you just doing whatever and you're continually losing because you keep changing? So did you have consistency? Really, really, really ask yourself that question. And generally the answer is no, right? Generally the answer is like, well, no, not really. I kind of did my own thing for a little bit. If you can study your losers and then you start studying your winners and you have the propensity to really understand what you are doing wrong, just go back and change it,
Yeah.
right? And make that update. Because again, very, very few people will really study their wins and study their losses. Like the actual trades, they just look at the result. They're like, I'm not making money. And they'll go look at the trade, like, oh, that trade didn't work, whatever. It's like, well, why? Why didn't it work? Don't just allow the trade to say, oh, it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Find out why that trade didn't work. There is always a reason. And if you are like, wow, I did get into that trade really high, even though it didn't meet my criteria, I got in way, way, way too high. Okay, sweet. Let's figure out how to change that going forward. Can we implement a rule like what is too high? What does it look like?
Mm-hmm.
How can you avoid that again next time? Right. So that when you look at a trade, it is way too high, you just don't get in.
Yeah.
And the only way to really start figuring that stuff out is by studying it.
Studying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like,
Do the work.
yeah, do the work. I remember getting some messages from you about that. And it's funny. I remember the one time when I was in a little bit of a slump and I had taken a Microsoft trade and you looked at the chart and you're like, dude, if you love losing money, keep trading inside days. And that's like one of the things that you taught me that has stuck with me. So if it's an inside day, I tend to stay far away from it unless it's a quick scout.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. You have to study your losers and your winners to find your patterns and what's working for you and what isn't.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to talk about, abundance. That's something that's very important and special to you. The abundance retreat that you're a part of. I had the opportunity to participate in that last year, but I want to read this quote because a lot of people don't really understand what's available through the markets. And I think it's like you often use the statistic $4 quadrillion are exchanged every year, but this is a quote on page 52. I'm going to read this one here. If you need to go in to the markets and make $20 million in a day, a week, a month, or a lifetime, you can. The market will neither care nor notice. 20 million to the market isn't even a grain of sand on the leg of a fly that's buzzing above the ocean compared to what moves in and out of the markets on a daily basis. I thought that was just a profound quote that speaks to the abundance of the markets. And if you could just elaborate on that concept and how it could really impact and change people's mindsets when they look at trading, that'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, man. I think the big shift occurs when you understand how expansive something is. You then begin to kind of lean into it a little bit more and stop worrying so much about why. For example, cell phones. Like, I don't know how a cell phone actually works. Like, I kind of do, but not really. Like, the fact that I can call you and you're hundreds of miles away and I can hear your voice is mind blowing. But if we really sit down and think about the expansiveness of that, and like I said, going back to the market, the expansiveness of the market, if a trader has $300,000 and they're like, oh man, I would really love to grow this to, and you pick a number, you're doing yourself a disservice because $300,000 happens in the market in like fractions of a second. So why can't you participate at a large scale and create amazing wealth? And the answer is you can. Many people just forget that the market is so huge. And so they get scared to participate in a huge way. They keep dabbling with decimals, right? And they put in 1,000 or 10,000 or 6,000. It's like, if you got $300,000, figure out a way to deploy all of that because the market's not going to care. It's okay. It's so huge. You can have $300,000 into the market. It's all right. It's okay. It's allowable. A lot of times abundance is giving people the permission to really be led by their dreams rather than pushed by their problems. And ultimately, as someone sits down and just realizes the true scale and scope of the size of the markets, it does oftentimes, man, allow people just go, okay, it's bigger than me. I don't have to know everything. I don't have to be a control freak. I don't have to try to figure out why and how in every single instance. I can just participate in it and just be in it and just receive more wealth.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. We just want that 0.0000001%, right?
Yeah,
Try
that's
more
it.
zeros than that. And
That's
it's
it.
out there. It's out there. And another concept in the book that you talk about, and this is something that I feel like you exemplify tremendously in talking about mastering your mind. This is on page 75, and that's doing hard things. And we think of Goggins, we think of doing hard things, but we also think of Jerremy Newsome, two-time calendar club finisher. You did the 12 by 12, something you came up with here. That's 12 miles every 12 hours for 12 days. Multiple Ironman completer. Talk me through the importance of doing hard things, and what is something hard that you're doing right now? Because I'm sure there's something.
Man, I think I was actually talking to a friend about this other day. She asked me, she's like, why do you enjoy suffering? And I said, I choose to decide that it's not suffering. And what my ultimate goal with doing really, really, really hard things is to allow myself to believe that I can become better. And when I say become better, everyone might wonder, like, oh, well, he's doing pretty good in life. Like, why better? The benchmark is internal, right? The benchmark for success and for greatness, I can be perfectly happy, successful, content, and still say to myself, how can I be a little bit better? It's that constant, never-ending improvement where you get the ability, for at least for me, to really, really find ways to just exist in a world where better is always a choice. It's always an option. It's always a possibility. And that excites me, man. And when you finish something truly, truly masterfully difficult, which very few people will in life,
Mhm.
the feeling that you get from that is unlike anything else. It is, you truly feel victorious. And most individuals need that feeling. They really do, because we're always chasing it, right? You're chasing that feeling. And so the feeling of true conquest is a beautiful, beautiful feeling. And it really allows you to embrace how perfectly created you are and how abundant this life is and how peaceful every part of your life can be by design if you really, really put it to work. And so that's for me, that's what doing hard things is all about. Yeah, the 12 by 12, that was really stupid. That was that was it was to celebrate the move from Nashville, because I lived in Georgia for 12 years. I lived in Florida for 12 years. I've been in Tennessee for 12 years. So I was like 12 by 12 by 12. So it was all these 12 numbers was really circulating hard for me this year.
Yeah.
And so that was a very, very special, that was a special type of conquest. And then right after that, so that was 288 miles. I went and did a 100-mile race in Florida, and I completed that. And that was a new level of unique pain for me. Um, and so I just finished up the marathon last weekend, so 72 hours ago. That was really enjoyable. But the fun part was I was able to share that experience with my nephew, Zachary, who for his first marathon ever, and 4 other people who've never run a marathon in their entire life, and we were all able to complete it. And again, just to have that feeling for each individual, that sense of victory, man, it allows you to go, I am really, really capable of achieving so much in this life.
Yeah. So what's up next? Because I know that you're always looking ahead, and you got something. Was it Moab 240? Something crazy like that?
The
What's up
Moab's
next?
going to happen at some point, man. The thing, and you'd be surprised by this, it's quite challenging to just figure out how to actually make this happen. But I really want to pull a car for a marathon. That's something that's been kind of in my brain for a
Yeah.
while, and it's from a logistic standpoint, it's proving to be more of a challenge than I anticipated. So I'm really working through that, and because pulling it up a hill is quite hard, and there's a lot of hills in Nashville.
Yeah.
And so getting out on a flat surface and then finding out what the flat surface is, like, is it a football, like high school track? Is it an airport? Like, just trying to track down a nice flat surface where I can have a vehicle,
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on. I think another fun thing that will be enjoyable for me is a nice long swim,
Mm-hmm.
like an ultra swim. I think that'd be really cool. Anything over 2.4 miles is considered an ultra swim. So I would like to do that. I would definitely like to do an Ultraman, which is a double Ironman. That'd be really cool. There's another possibility coming up in the near future that I'll be doing 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. That's a possibility. Yeah, man. All kinds of cool things. I got a trail run in October in Lake Tahoe where I'll be doing 3 marathons a day for 3 days in a row.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so there's all kinds of fun things. Yeah, man, there's all kinds of fun things that are trickling out there.
I love it, man. You're a beacon of inspiration for people, just to show, hey, you can be doing so much more. So thank you for shining that light out there, because I'm sure this is going to get some people fired up. So let's pivot back to trading. And just one more thing I wanted to hit on from the book here. This was just the concept of simplicity in trading, where you talk about indicators. And this might seem like something very obvious, but the obvious sometimes we ignore in trading. But you say, if you have an indicator on your screen, you better be using it. And if not, then why is it there? Can you talk about simplicity when it comes to trading?
Yeah, that's my favorite, man. It's my favorite. When someone has like 4 or 5 different indicators, and like, oh, this is doing this and this.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. Did you take the trade? Well, no. Why mention this indicator then? Like, are you going to take the trade or not? If you aren't taking the trade, the indicator is not going to help you. So that's like me looking at a really nice car and going, man, that's a really beautiful car. I sure would love to drive it. And someone gives me the keys, and I take the keys and I swallow them. It's the same level of like, why even do it in the first place?
Yeah.
So ultimately, I love moving averages as indicators. Those are kind of my go-to. Those are things that I use the most. Tesla yesterday had the easiest trade of all time in human history, right? Just trade right up to the 100 symbol on the daily. 198.50, like easiest short of all time.
Yeah.
Telegraphed. I mean, it was up. Tesla was up 40% in the last week, and it runs into the 100 simple on the daily. It was just so masterful. But again, being able to use indicators, regardless what it is, the true component and test of a trader's skill is simply saying, here's my process, here's what I look for. And when this indicator is whatever, green or red or crosses or bounces or touches, use that and then actually begin to interact with it. And if you do not, then your trading isn't going to be improved, and you're not really going to have a process. You just need to make sure you have some type of process that you follow consistently, because that's how results get created. Consistency.
Yeah.
Repetition.
And I will attest that your charts are probably the cleanest that I've ever seen. It's just you're moving averages and that's it. And it's just 2 of them, right? The 100 and the 200, and you have the 10 on there.
Yeah.
No, outstanding. So this is the Traders Podcast. It's designed for people who are aspiring traders or looking to get involved with trading and investing. With your wealth of knowledge, how much you've helped me to get where I am today. Super grateful for you in real life trading. But what advice do you have for aspiring traders, people just beginning to get into the markets? What's important for them to know as they begin this journey?
It's all about time. Time. Like, if you give it enough time, the trade will probably work, right? Especially if it's an investment, and being able to properly and accurately determine what your time is, what your time frame is, crucial, right? Like, are you a day trader? Are you an investor? Are you something in between, a swing trader? Know what that is and master one of those time frames. You cannot master all 3 simultaneously. You have to be able to go, which one do I want to focus the most on? And pick one and go after it. because the market rewards the specialist. That's what my mentor taught me. And the specialist is when you go, okay, I'm just going to do this one thing for whatever period of time, but make it a long period of time. 2 years. Where you go, okay, cool. I'm just going to master investing for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Awesome. Focus on just that for 2 years. Don't worry about credit spreads. Don't worry about day trading Tesla off the 100. Don't worry about it. There's 1,000 things to do. Find the thing that you want to do. Focus on that. Get really, really good at it. Understand it. Make money with it. And then once you make some money with it, go and start learning something else. Don't keep shifting. If you can't make money investing, or if you can't make money day trading, or you can't make money swing trading, like don't go back and forth until you just really hone in on one. You've made money with one. You know that thing works. You know that process works. Then you can go on to the next time frame.
Yeah, and you live what you say, because if I'm not mistaken, you traded Apple exclusively for a year. Is that correct?
2 years, yeah,
2 years.
Apple, yeah, just Apple. That was it. Just, but there's plenty of times. Like, I mean, really, at this stage, I think 98% of my day trades in the last 2 years has been Tesla. I have taken a few other trades, but very, very rarely. Like I said, so 98% of the time it's just Tesla.
Tesla.
And again, that makes it easy for me from a day trading perspective, from an investing perspective. Like you can probably guess 6 of my investing stocks. Like it's nothing overly unique or interesting.
Yeah.
I just look at the big trends, the big companies. I find good places to get in. I throw a lot of capital at it. I leave it alone for a period of time, and then I wait until it goes higher, and then I get out. Like it's pretty simplistic overall. I mean, dude, you carved out, you gifted me a bunch of money on Nvidia when me and you sat down on your couch and you were like, when's Nvidia hitting 1,000? That was your exact question. And you and I were like, well, let's figure it out. And we just started talking about it for like 45 minutes, and we came up with a plan, and that plan worked, right? And so it's like, it did, dude. And so that's a great example, realistically, of just focusing time, energy, attention, and just being really, really clear on just mastering something and just really understanding that one thing really well.
Yeah. Yeah. And for people who want to learn these things really, really well, can you talk to them about real life trading, everything that's offered there? It's where I started my journey to learn, working with you. But just give the audience an overview of what's going on with RLT.
Yeah, man, I would love that. We're going to have a brand new website. When people listen to this podcast, that website will have been updated. And real life trading, it's such a cool, really, really cool company that focuses on just educating individuals all around the world, just how the market works. And we do so totally for free. We want to give instruction and insight that's really, really valuable, that's deep, that's available to people. And I've always thought that education should be free and experiences should cost money.
Mm-hmm.
And the experience of being with other people that love trading, I think, is the best part of a community. And so just like you and the community that you've built and communities that other traders have built, communities are where people grow and thrive. Mm-hmm. And there's so many trading communities, and it makes me extremely happy to have built one. And it makes me feel very worthy of celebrating that, because so many great traders learn in really, really awe-inspiring communities, and real life trading is absolutely one of those. The next big piece that we're going to be creating, this comes out in really just a few weeks, is going to be called Retire in 90 Days, How to Make 30% a Year and Live Your Dream Retirement. And just really focus on the retiree community, because there's a lot of baby boomers right now, like 3,000 baby boomers retire every day. And that's a big number. So like that amount, there was this one gentleman, I forget his name, but he called it the silver tsunami. So there's so many individuals right now in the United States of America that are hitting that age of retirement, that are now really retiring, and they're like, cool, now what? And so I want to give them an insight into how they can thrive, not survive, but really, really create amazing, amazing wealth, income, flexibility, and freedom.
That's awesome. And I'll link in the show notes the site address to check out real life trading. I'll also put your Twitter in there. It's at Newsome Nuggets. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put that in there. Your Facebook, I'll get all that. So if you want to check out
Oh, thanks,
real
dude.
life trading, tremendous value. So please do check it out. Again, if it wasn't for RLT, this podcast would not be happening. So, and I remember Jeremy telling me too, the world needs more great teachers of trading, right? So, maybe you will be the next whoever's out there watching this, the next teacher who's going to help somebody achieve financial freedom. So, Jeremy, just to bring this home, we got to talk current markets. So, I've got
Yes.
5 questions here. Just finish these statements. It doesn't have to be one word. It doesn't have to be one sentence. You can elaborate. But 5 questions that I know that the listeners would be interested in hearing your responses, and I know I would too. But speaking of Tesla, all right,
All right.
Tesla's price at the end of November 2024 will be this, and why?
It'll be $243.29.
Oh, that's precise.
Yeah. Why? Why will it be at that price? Well, what's going to be happening on Tesla as the more they begin to release their insurance, a lot of people forget, but Tesla is creating its own insurance company. And that insurance company is going to be measured and metriced by all the data that the car is creating for you.
Yeah.
So it's going to know, did you actually cause the accident or not? Was it your fault or not? How is your driving habits? And that way you can lower your insurance costs. But that is money. I mean, who are the biggest, most profitable companies in the world, Jeremy?
Insurance companies.
Insurance companies.
Yeah.
And so Tesla was like, sure, let's get in on that game. I mean, that's going to be the big one. And so that's rolling out right now. Like that's happening as we speak.
Okay.
And coming into November of 2024, they're going to continue to roll out in different cities and different states. And that's just going to be a really, really beautiful MRR, monthly recurring revenue, that Tesla doesn't really ultimately have right now. But that's going to be one additional, one thing that gets additioned to that humongous company. And it's going to be really, really cool and profitable.
So side question on that. Does it hit a price higher than 242 prior to November of 2024?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. It goes above there, but then it ends up pulling back a little bit. But yeah.
Yep. All right. Here's the next one. The next NVIDIA is
The next NVIDIA is, I really want to think on this one for a second. Meta.
ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Meta, dude, is I mean, think about what Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And for anyone who has WhatsApp, you've probably noticed a new search feature inside of your WhatsApp. It's a Meta AI search feature. And they're going to start you text and talk, and it's man. Like this, your boy Zuckerberg, dude, is thinking through this stuff.
Well, I just saw in the earnings presser that he did that they've upped their investment in AI. So nice. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's pulled back nicely into that 100 right now. So
Yes, it is. Yeah, if you get Meta at 380 in the next 3, you can make this year.
awesome. Awesome. Here's the next one. Blank is the David Goggins of the stock market.
Me, bro.
I love it.
Me. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Say no more. All right, got 2 more for you, and we'll get you out of here. I appreciate you giving me this much time.
Oh
The
my gosh,
number of rate cuts by the Fed this year.
1.
Okay. And then the last one. This bull market ends this date and why?
I think the really, really big one, the big one is 2031, right around there. It could happen it could happen in 2028, but most likely it'll happen around 2031. My prediction is that we're going to stay in a bull market for a while. I think this is the roaring 20s. I think we're in it right now.
Oh, wow.
And 100-year cycle will be very, very close to the next big pullback, which is the Great Depression, right? 1929. And so the next big one, it won't be companies that'll go bankrupt, it'll be countries. But we have a long time until then. And so I'm enjoy the ride up, and then the next one will be pretty scary. But that's when it's going to end. I don't think that this particular bull market has a really, really cyclical shift into a bear market that gets sustained for any period of time until, another 8-9 years from now.
Wow. Fantastic. Well, dude, so grateful that you came on today. I'm sure the listeners, the viewers got so much out of this. Great gratitude, man. We appreciate you coming on. We're going to check out your stuff at RLT, and hopefully we can get you back on here at some point soon.
Can't wait, my homie. Thank you, dude.
All right, brother. Have a great day. Take care.
Yes, sir.
All right. See you.